Good afternoon, YouTube. Yours truly, MiketheLAdonsfan, coming at you with the 1996 Los Angeles Dons season in review. Hope everybody's having a good day. All right, if you can, give my videos a like, leave a comment, feel free to subscribe, share with your family and friends. Yes, subscribe to both this channel and my main channel, MiketheLAdonsfan, here on Don's Football Classics, the 1996 season review. And hit the notification bell when my videos come on. So let's sit back, kick back, and enjoy. And let's look at the 1996 Los Angeles Dons, their first season back in the NFL, in my fun segment since 1971. Let's jump right in. For the first time since 1971, the Los Angeles Dons were back in the NFL. And they were back in the NFC West. Led by head coach John Smart, an offensive assistant from BYU, he was in charge of leading the new Dons into the new direction and into the future, and putting the Dons back to bringing the Dons back to the promised land as champions. 1996 was an exciting year, a lot of ups and a lot of downs, finishing 9-7. And just coming up short of the playoffs. But there were some memorable moments in 96 and the Dons returned to the NFL. Some memorable wins and some devastating losses. But all in all, the Dons, in their first year back, finished 9-7 and building for the future 97. And now we're ready to take a look at the 1996 Los Angeles Dons. The Dons' first game back in the National Football League in my fun segment was against the now St. Louis Rams in the LA Coliseum on a Sunday night. And the Dons put on a great performance against the Rams, defeating them 35-24 to go 1-0 in 96. The Dons quarterback had a good game, and linebacker Nathan Smith was showing that he can be an all-pro in this league. And rookie running back Derek Vance showcasing his potential to become one of the best backs in the league. Week 2 on a Thursday night in Honolulu, Hawaii, against the now Hawaii Kings since '89. The Dons would beat them by 10 points. And then the next week, the first ever meeting between them and the Carolina Panthers in the LA Coliseum. The Dons will beat the Panthers, who eventually win the NFC West in 96, beat them by 10 points, 27-17. The Dons were off to their best start since 1957. And then the following week, they traveled to Columbus, Ohio, to face the Ohio Flyers. And they would beat them 37-23 in Cruz Stadium. The next week, traveled to Atlanta, Georgia, where they played in 1971, where they played their final game in Fulton County Stadium. They made a return trip to Atlanta, this time in the Georgia Dome, but the results remained the same, defeating the Atlanta Falcons 42-10. The best start, 6-0, best start in Dons history since '57, was followed up with a win in New Orleans. A win against New Orleans in the Coliseum by 20. But the Dons will soon find out later that the NFL is no walk in the park or a cakewalk. Because in San Francisco, the Dons will fall to their nemesis, the NorCal nemesis, their in-state rival, the 49ers, by 17. But they picked it up in Week 9 in their first ever meeting against the Houston Oilers, beating them by 7, 27-20. All right, after the win over the Oilers, the Dons traveled to St. Louis for the first time since 1970, but against the Rams, they were defeated 24-3. And then the losing continued the following week in Charlotte, North Carolina, where they were devastated by the Carolina Panthers 29-10. And then the following week in Cincinnati, they would get crushed by the Bengals 21-3. And then the Dons come back home against the 49ers again, and once again, they would get dominated by the 49ers. 4 straight losses going down the stretch. In their first year back in the NFL was not looking good as it started out to be. But a game against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans with Carlos Montana now, the rookie quarterback. Now in there, the rookie quarterback Carlos Montana now starting. The Dons will bounce back against the New Orleans Saints, beating them 34-27. But the following week, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they would fall to the Steelers by 11. Now with 2 games left of the 96 season, the Dons will have to find a way to not only bounce back, but win their last 2 games and hopefully get some help by some teams to get into the playoffs. All right, week 16. On a Monday night in the LA Coliseum, the Dons will take on the West Virginia Spartans. The first ever meeting between these 2 teams, and the Dons would bounce back and crush the Spartans, keeping their postseason hopes alive. In the game season finale against the Atlanta Falcons, the Dons will shut out the lonely Atlanta Falcons, who finished their season 3-13, and the Dons completed their first winning season since 1970 by beating the Falcons 31-0, but unfortunately, they would miss out on the playoffs. But a 9-7 campaign in '96 hopefully will be a launching pad to 1997. John Smart thinks he can. Thinks his team can do it. The Dons' first season back in '96 was a success, but they hopefully carried '96 momentum into '97 and hopefully make that run to the playoffs, or not just playoffs, but something bigger. The 1996 Dons are building for the future and honoring its past. That will conclude. All right, that concludes 1996. Come back. Final thoughts after this. All right, that concludes the 1996 season in review for the Dons. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. Feel free to subscribe, share with your family and friends. I think coming back the first year in '96 was good for the Dons, and they finished with a winning record even though they didn't make the playoffs. But we thought '96 was going to be the launching pad, but we're going to find out more But we're going to do some more Don's yearbooks. So be ready for that. So if you can, like I said, feel free to subscribe to this channel, Don's Football Classics, and my main channel, MiketheLAdonsfan. Hit the notification bell when my videos come on, and I'll catch you on the next one. MiketheLAdonsfan here on Don's Football Classics, signing off. Peace. Go Dons. Goodbye, everybody.